I watched my ex fall in love with someone else on Facebook. Keeping tabs on her via social media became a form of self-inflicted torture that I just couldn't quit. We broke up in the parking lot of an Uno pizzeria in Boston. She wanted to settle down. She wanted kids and a good job and a yard for a dog to run in. I wanted New York, and London, and maybe Thailand for a year or two. I wanted to write, and to live in a shitty apartment, and to be in love in a tumultuous way. I was barely 21. I didn't want it to be easy yet. We ordered 2 individual deep dish pizzas to go and sat in our car eating them in silence. We told ourselves it would be nice not to tip, or to listen to the bad 90s songs they played inside the restaurant. But maybe it was just nice not to talk for a while. "Something isn't right," I said. "Did they give you the wrong sauce?" She looked at me with a face of genuine concern that reminded me why I loved her. "No, not the pizza. Us," I said. A spot of red sauce crept down her chin. Without permission, I wiped it away with my thumb. Through tears, we sat in the car making promises we couldn't keep, our cold pizza unattended at our feet. "Maybe in a couple years," we promised each other. I held on to that longer than I should have. It was my justification 3 months later as I clicked through her Facebook profile late at night. "I just want to see how she is," I told myself. "I wonder if she's found that job yet," I reasoned. "I wonder if her parents are still in good health." I always had a good reason for going back. Their first photograph together was taken at a party. At least I can assume it was a party from the red solo cup he held and her tipsy half smile, the same one I used to tease her about. Her fingers were wrapped around his waist, and as I stared at my computer screen, I tried not to think about how I used to feel when she put her hands the same place on me. Maybe they're just friends. Did she know him while we were dating? I wonder if they spent the night together. "I'm not allowed to care," I reminded myself. But I did. I slammed my laptop shut. I was done torturing myself for one night. But when I fell asleep, I dreamed of her. It was winter. Dirty snow lined the parking lot of the 7-Eleven where we bought papers to roll joints. As we leaned against the car, I could feel the cold spreading through my body from the soles of my feet. She exhaled purposefully onto me, her cloud of hot breath drifting towards me. Like any dreamscape, it wasn't quite right. The plotline didn't make sense. Why were we standing outside rather than walking in? Why were we driving my mother's car instead of hers? Why wasn't she wearing a jacket? Why were we still together? I took my hands out of my gloves and put them under her shirt, finding my way to her lower back. She winced and then smiled at me. "I'm just here to warm your extremities, aren't I?" she said. "Maybe," I said, grinning. I woke up cold, searching for her in my bed. That brief moment after waking was always the worst. That moment when I feel like the dream was reality, like maybe we never broke up at all. That moment when I willed myself back to sleep, wishing nothing more than to return to my hand on her lower back. That moment where I remembered so easily what it felt like to love and to be loved that it seemed impossible it wasn't true anymore. I grabbed my phone from my nightstand and started scrolling through her Twitter. I needed to be with her, in whatever capacity I could. As I read the words on my screen, I could hear her voice so clearly. I imagined her laughing at her own joke before posting it, and I smiled at the thought. I could hear her voice so easily that, for a moment, my bed didn't feel quite so empty. 6 months after we broke up, there was another photo. She and the guy with the red solo cup at a baseball game. My stomach twisted as I realized he was destined to become a recurring character in our life. I scrolled through the photos of them together, each holding a drink. I wondered if he liked sports, or if he was more interested in the overpriced beers and hot dogs like I was. I wondered if he enjoyed remarking on the tightness of the players' pants, or discussing the blood alcohol content of the people around him. I wondered if they were having fun. Seeing them together, with their easy smiles and full cups, it still didn't register that she had moved on. Maybe in a couple of years. That promise came back to me too easily. I didn't want her now, but I didn't think that meant I couldn't have her ever. I couldn't digest that she could fall in love with someone else while I still loved her. At that point, I didn't understand love could be one-sided like that. I couldn't imagine she told him the things she told me, or looked at him the same way. In my deluded state, I actually felt sorry for him. This poor guy's girlfriend is in love with her ex, I thought. It's funny how easy it is to believe the unbelievable when it hurts less. I pictured her lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, wishing the guy lying next to her was me. It was easier to imagine she was sleeplessly staring at walls, searching for me in her bed, than to believe the truth. She wasn't thinking of me at all. The internet told me a lot about him. It told me he was handsome and smart. It told me he was social and his smile made him seem kind. I wanted to hate him, but I couldn't. He took pictures with children and smiled wholeheartedly in photos. He laughed in a way that seemed authentic. He looked like the kind of guy that was patient as she got ready. I looked at his profile and then went back to my own, attempting to step outside of myself and act as an unbiased judge between the two of us. I looked at our profiles and saw all the things we had in common, and all the things we didn't. My face was more angular and sharper than his, my hair a little less blonde. My smile didn't come as easily, except in the photos in which I was with her. He volunteered more than I did, but I seemed to get outdoors more. He looked like he came from money, and I looked like I was living on hand-me-downs and budgeted grocery lists. We had our differences, but we also had our overarching similarities. We both loved our family, our friends, and the same girl. Months passed and I watched them tag each other in photos and their relationship status change. I cringed as they exchanged banter on Twitter and speculated at what their jokes were about. I noticed when he became friends with her sisters and took a photo with her mother. I saw her wearing the watch I bought her as she stood next to him on a vacation they took together. I saw them driving in the car we kissed in, the car we broke up in. I saw the relationship go to the places ours had gone, and to places it had not. I wondered if they fought. I wondered if the things that she did that annoyed me bothered him in the same way. I wondered if he wanted the big yard and the good job too. I could have stopped looking at any time, but it was addicting. I wanted to know what happened next. I wanted to see if it worked out. Or maybe I wanted to see if it didn't. Despite my self-inflicted torture, I didn't reach out to her. I still wanted New York, and London, and maybe Thailand for a year or two. Nothing had changed. But I liked seeing photos of that toothy grin. I liked when she made a goofy face or wasn't ready for a picture. She reminded me what it felt like to love someone, and I liked that part of myself. We were both spiraling off in vastly different directions, but I still felt an inexplicable pull towards her. It was nice having her be so accessible, even if she wasn't. I didn't fancy myself a stalker, though maybe that's what I was, layering through the virtual window pane of someone else's happy life. I guess I just thought that if I could see her on that 13-inch computer screen, then maybe she was still with me in a way. Maybe I wasn't alone. Maybe I was loved. Maybe she was looking too. As time passed, I visited her less often, and when I did concede, the twist of the knife was not as sharp. Instead, it felt like the prodding of a dull familiar wound, one that leaves its mark, but the pain is felt more from memory than from anything else. Eventually, I went an hour without thinking of her, then a few hours, then a day, then a week, then a month. When I visit her profile now, the sting isn't as sharp. I'm proud of her when she finds success in her career, and I'm sad for her when someone she knows dies. I'm happy for her for being in love. I'm glad for the guy with the solo cup for finding such a good woman. Maybe she's different now. Maybe she doesn't snort when she laughs, or fold her pizza into a sandwich before eating it. Maybe I don't know her at all. But still, visiting her reminds me that I am capable of love, and that I am worthy of love. It reminds me that when you truly care for another person, it never really goes away.